He wasn't born into power. He wasn't born into privilege. He was born on a poor island, barely even French. And yet within a decade his name would echo across Europe. This is the story of how Napoleon Bonaparte rose from nothing to become the most feared general in revolutionary France. Napoleon was born in 1769 on the island of Corsica, just 1 year after it was conquered by France. The Corsicans didn't trust him, the French didn't accept him. He was an outsider to both, foreign in his own country. His family had noble roots but lived in poverty. His father, Carlo Bonaparte, secured a scholarship for Napoleon to study in mainland France. At just 9 years old, he left home. He was short. He had a thick Corsican accent and he was often bullied. But Napoleon didn't fight back with fists. He turned inward, reading history, studying strategy and sharpening his mind. At the École Militaire in Paris, Napoleon trained to become an artillery officer. He wasn't popular, he wasn't social, but he was brilliant. He absorbed military theory like a sponge, especially the campaigns of Caesar, Frederick the Great, and Alexander the Great. What he lacked in connections, he made up for in calculation. At 16, he became a second lieutenant in the French army. But a few years later, everything changed. In 1789, the French Revolution erupted. France descended into chaos. The monarchy collapsed. Officers with noble blood were dismissed, imprisoned, or executed. But Napoleon was no aristocrat. He sided with the revolution, and in that chaos he saw his chance. In 1793, he played a key role in recapturing the city of Toulon from royalist rebels and British forces. His strategy, placing artillery to bombard the harbour, forced the British to flee. It was a turning point. He was promoted to brigadier general at just 24 years old. But success in revolutionary France was never safe. Power shifted constantly. Allies today were enemies tomorrow. Napoleon was arrested briefly after his political patrons fell out of favour. He knew then, survival required more than military skill. It demanded timing, loyalty to ideas, but not to people. In 1795, royalist forces marched on Paris. The government, known as the Directory, panicked. They needed someone ruthless, someone effective. They turned to Napoleon. Napoleon took command and positioned cannons in the heart of Paris. When the royalists attacked, he gave the order, grapeshot. Hundreds were killed in minutes. He didn't hesitate. And that made him a hero. The Directory promoted him again, this time to commander of the Army of the Interior. He was now 26, and one of the most powerful men in France. Soon after, he was given control of the French army of Italy. He found an army starving, unpaid, and demoralized. But within weeks, Napoleon transformed it into a weapon. He promised them glory and delivered victory. In the Italian campaign that followed, he crushed Austria's forces, redrew borders, and brought immense wealth back to France. He sent propaganda home, making sure everyone knew who had won those battles. Not just the army, Napoleon. How does a boy from a remote island rise to national fame before the age of 30? Napoleon didn't wait for opportunity. He created it. He didn't ask permission, he took command. He mastered the art of being in the right place at the right time, and knowing exactly what to do when he got there. In less than 10 years, an obscure Corsican outsider had become a national hero. Not by birth, not by favour, but by skill, ambition, and the ability to act decisively when others hesitated. The revolution gave him a stage. But it was Napoleon who wrote the script.